Well, it's that time of year again. It's Super Bowl week. So let's talk about the worst ever Super Bowl halftime shows. Coming at number 5, Phil Collins, Christina Aguilera, Enrique Iglesias, and Tony Braxton. Before we dive into this, can we just ask real quick, who thought this lineup was a good idea? Billed as the Tapestry of Nations because Disney? This halftime show was the equivalent of flipping through the radio to a bunch of stations, and not one of them was playing anything interesting. Phil Collins opened with a song or two, and that felt more like an intermission than it did a performance. Then Christina Aguilera and Enrique Iglesias showed up, and we were expecting some hits, but instead they just played a painfully boring ballad that nobody knew. Finally, Tony Braxton entered the scene, and it just felt like we were at an overly produced theme park show. Don't get me wrong, it was bad, but it was also just painfully dull. That's why it's in the running for worst halftime crime of all time. Number 4, Justin Timberlake in 2018. Timberlake's return to the halftime show should have been a slam dunk. Instead, it just felt like a guy trying to hype up a wedding reception and losing the crowd halfway through. For some reason, he felt like his best move was to run through the crowd the entire time, instead of just standing on stage and owning it. The setlist felt disjointed, the energy was off, and the entire thing just lacked a big moment. Last time he was there, he gave us a big moment. And then came the Prince incident, performing in Minneapolis, despite the fact that Prince had specifically spoken out about doing duets with dead people. Fans were not pleased. What was supposed to be a tribute ended up feeling awkward and tone deaf. Listen, Timberlake's usually the ultimate showman, but this halftime show was about as exciting as a lukewarm glass of milk. Number 3, The Who in 2010. Look, I love The Who. They're true rock and roll legends. But by 2010, let's just say that time hadn't been kind to them. Their set felt like less of a high-octane performance and more of a nostalgic get-together in your uncle's backyard. Roger Daltrey struggled to hit the high notes. Pete Townshend's windmill strumming lacked its old flair. The whole thing just felt like somebody hit shuffle on a Spotify playlist of The Who's best hits. Was it awful? I wouldn't say that. But was it exciting? Not even remotely. It was like watching your dad's favorite band perform at a corporate retreat. Endearing in a way, but completely out of place at the Super Bowl. Number 2, Maroon 5 had one job: to entertain everybody. Instead, they decided to deliver a halftime show that was the equivalent to a soggy cardboard box. From the jump, it felt uninspired. The energy was non-existent, the visuals were bland, and Adam Levine, realizing the performance was going nowhere, decided to just take his shirt off. By the end of the performance, he was shirtless, but instead of that becoming an exciting moment, it just felt like a Super Bowl halftime version of, when in doubt, distract him with my abs. And then there was the SpongeBob incident. Fans had campaigned for a tribute to Sweet Victory, one of the most legendary animated moments of music ever. What did we get? A 5-second clip that just led into Travis Scott's sicko mode. That was a betrayal so egregious that it's still being discussed today. It's hard to say that Maroon 5 ever puts on a bad performance, but this one was just like empathetically meh. And I think it just ended up being a total disaster. Number 1, the Black Eyed Peas in 2011. Let's paint a scene here. It's 2011 and the Black Eyed Peas are everywhere. You literally can't escape, I got a feeling. So naturally, the expectations for this halftime show were sky high. What do we get instead? A tech nightmare that met a karaoke night gone wrong. First, the sound. will.i.am's mic malfunctioned the whole time. Fergie's voice sounded like it had a personal vendetta with our eardrums and was just attacking them. The entire performance felt off. The futuristic LED light suits felt like they were from a Spirit Halloween store on clearance. And then if that wasn't enough, Slash appeared, and Fergie tried to deliver a rendition of Sweet Child of Mine by channeling Axl Rose, but instead she just sounded like a shrieking banshee. Then Usher swung in for a quick cameo. He did a sweet flip, and then wisely, he just got out of there before things got worse. By the end, viewers didn't know what they had just witnessed. If it wasn't so long ago, I would think it was some kind of AI experiment. And there you have it, in my opinion, the 5 worst Super Bowl performances. Some were disastrous, some were just plain weird, and some were so boring that they made me question my life choices. But hey, that's part of the fun every year. I can't wait to see what's coming up this Sunday. Who do you think was the worst halftime performance? Drop it in the comments down below, give this video a like, and subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.